Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about dupes, and I'm going to be coming at you with 5 cruelty-free dupes for 5 products that are not cruelty-free. So I hope this is helpful. I was actually really into beauty for a few years before I went cruelty-free, and on one hand that's really annoying because obviously I spent quite a lot of money on products that weren't cruelty-free and that were made by brands that do test on animals or do send their products for testing or do sell in China. But on the other hand, it's actually kind of good because it means I can find replacements for them, share the replacements that I found so that you too can not shop with brands that test on animals, because it's just unnecessary, it's just not very nice, and there are a lot of horrible things in the world, but you can avoid some of those horrible things by not funding brands that test on animals. So I'm going to get into showing you 5 products I found to replace 5 of my favourite products before I went cruelty-free. Enough blabbing, let's go. Also, I'm really sorry if some of these aren't spot on dupes, but I will be very specific as to how they are dupes and how they are different, so bear that in mind as we go through. First of all, a MAC lipstick. Now MAC, I had a lot of their lipsticks, probably I'd say about 14, 15 maybe, which doesn't sound like a lot compared to some people's MAC collections who have basically the whole set. But when you think about them being £15 each, that's a lot, that totals up to a lot of money, so kind of annoying that I had to replace them all. But MAC are owned by Estee Lauder, so a no-go for me. But there were 2 shades in particular that I was kind of gutted that I wouldn't be able to purchase anymore, and those 2 shades were Twig, which is like a brownie nude shade, and this one, which is Brave. This is like a pinky nude, but not too pink but not too nude, and it's the perfect everyday shade, I would say, for my skin tone. It's just, it doesn't pull either way. It doesn't pull too pink, it doesn't pull too nude that it washes you out. It's just a really easy shade to wear. I really like it, and it's a satin finish, so it's a very natural lip. Can just be sort of pressed into the lips with some lip balm. Overall, I was a big fan of this lipstick, and the product that I've replaced that with is this one, and this is the Lush liquid lipstick in the shade Perspective. This is obviously slightly different in that it's a different applicator. It's not a traditional lipstick. It comes with a little doe foot applicator like this, and then you apply it to the lips from the applicator instead of from the bullet with the lipstick, obviously. But the shades are very similar, I have to say. The only difference is I think this one has a slightly different sheen to it. It has, so the satin finish isn't matte, it's a very sort of natural finish, whereas this, it's not glossy, but it pulls a little more glossy than it does, you know, neutral, if you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but I'll show you them up close, and hopefully you'll be able to see ever so slightly different. But in terms of shade match, this is really similar. And this one is cruelty-free, obviously, it's paraben-free and certified vegan, so that's a winner, and I'd highly recommend giving this a swatch if you're ever in a Lush store or walking past one. Check it out. Also from MAC, I always used to use this. This is one of their lip liners, not their Pro Longwear lip liners, just the standard lip liner in the shade Burgundy. It's nothing out of this world, it's a standard wooden lip liner, but I would always use this shade. If I was ever to go for a dark lip or a bold lip, I'd always use this as a base so that my lip colour would stay on longer, it would go on a little bit better, and it's quite good for drawing around the outside of your lips because it's wooden, it's quite a hard pencil. It's just all round kind of what I would gravitate towards if I was going to go for a dark lip. And the pencils that I found to be very similar to this are the Essence lip liners. Now these retail for £1, whereas the MAC ones are £13, I think, from memory, so a lot cheaper, a massive price difference, and they're pretty much the same. And especially this colour, this is Soft Berry, and this, okay, I wouldn't say it dupes it exactly. Again, it's a very close comparison. I'll obviously show you them close up. For what I use it for, which is just as a base for a dark lip, they are very similar. The Burgundy one is a little bit deeper, it's a bit more red as opposed to the Soft Berry by Essence, which is a bit more mauvey, kind of purpley, but they're very similar, and the formula is very similar. They're both wooden pencils, last a similar amount of time, massive price difference, and the Essence ones are cruelty-free. And they're not all vegan, I have to say. Their long-lasting lip liners are, I think they've got beeswax in, and some of their wooden pencils have got carmine in, which is annoying. But the thing I like about Essence is they'll say on the cap, usually, they'll have a sticker like this, and then usually it will say on it, contains carmine, which I think is really handy. I don't think many other drugstores would do that, or drugstore brands would do that. Or there is a website, a German website, which someone I follow on Instagram mentioned to me that she uses. She's got a really good Instagram, by the way. She does vegan, cruelty-free makeup looks, but like very much more developed than mine. My makeup, it's, you know, proper like makeup artist kind of looks. I'll link her Instagram down below because it's amazing. You should follow it. She's really sweet and kind. And yeah, she recommended this website called dm.de, and it's kind of like a supermarket sort of pharmacy kind of place. But if you look on the Essence part of their website, it usually says underneath if they classify it as vegan or not, so it's just a nice way to filter through things and without looking at the long list of ingredients just see if something's vegan or not. So that's a top tip for Essence. Definitely check that website out. I'll put it down below if you are interested. But yeah, really good dupe, very spot on, colour match. I used to wear this nail varnish all of the time. It's a very, very easy colour. It's the kind of colour you can wear in the day, you can wear in the night. It lasts pretty well, and yeah, I really did like it. And this is by Essie, and it's the shade Eternal Optimist. It's like a pinky nude, but very easy, very flattering. Used to love it. So when I found out Essie weren't cruelty-free, I was a bit gutted. But I have replaced this with not a spot-on dupe, but I think it's a better formula actually, not quite the same colour, a little bit darker, and that shade is this one by 100% Pure. It's the shade Velveteen, and they probably have a closer match to this Essie colour, but because 100% Pure don't actually sell in store in England yet, which is annoying, I would love it if they did, but because they don't, I kind of have to try and match on the website in terms of colours. It's a really lovely colour, but it's just a little bit darker, a little bit more mauve and a little bit darker. But it does the exact same thing, you know, I use it in place, I can use it every single day. I've got it on my nails at the moment. I can use it in the daytime, nighttime. It's so, so easy, and the formula is better. I'd say it's just as glossy, but it lasts a lot longer. 2 coats and you're good to go. My friend actually borrowed this on New Year's Eve, and she really, really wants one now. She's not really into makeup too much, or nail varnish or beauty, but she was really impressed by it, and it's lasted on her nails for a long time. So I always find that when I get feedback from my friends from stuff they've tested out of mine, and they're impressed by it, I know that's kind of a winner, because they're not really into makeup that much. So yeah, that's worth noting. If you too are after a really long lasting nail varnish, highly recommend this. You can get it online. They're £9 each, so how much did Essie retail for? Let me just check. They're kind of £7.99, £9.99, so kind of similar price. But another thing I would say about the 100% Pure polish is it's like a 10 free formula, so it has 10 of the main chemicals you want to avoid in nail varnish. Doesn't have it in. This I think is 3 free, so it has 3 of the main ones, but it probably, I don't know exactly what's in this, but I know that it's not 10 free, whereas this is. So yeah, that's something to know if you're into kind of green beauty, organic, more natural products. This is a winner. Another product that isn't cruelty free that I used to use all the time, it's not really a product, it's a tool. This is by Bobbi Brown, and it's their eye blender brush. This is expensive. This, I think it's about £36, which for a brush is a lot of money. A lot of money, more than you would pay in MAC. It's probably the most expensive brush I've ever bought. I did used to use it all the time because I used to use it to set my under eye concealer with some powder, and I also used to use it just for general sort of eye blending purposes, eyeshadow. And the reason why I had to replace this is because Bobbi Brown, not cruelty free, it's owned by Estee Lauder, and also I believe it's a natural bristle brush, so that means that the bristles have come from an animal, a living, breathing animal, which I am not a fan of. So it's not a vegan product, it's not cruelty free. So to replace that, I have 2 options, and the first one is probably my favourite one, and this is by 100% Pure again. I talk about this all of the time, and I just really like it. It's their eye contour brush, or just contour brush, even though it's not a contour brush, obviously it's a blending brush. It's just as soft as the Bobbi Brown one. It's a little bit smaller, it's just as fluffy, just as soft, and it does exactly the same thing, but I actually prefer it because it's ever so slightly more dense. It makes blending a lot easier. It takes less time to blend out an eyeshadow, a transition shade, whatever you're blending in, compared to this one, because this is a lot lighter sort of on the skin, which is, it's nice feeling, but it takes a lot of work to actually work the product in, whereas this one, it's a lot more efficient. It's cheaper as well. Obviously you have to order online if you live in England or the UK, because 100% Pure, as I mentioned, are not in stores, but I love it, and I'd highly recommend it if you can get it in stores. Love that brush. But if you're after a brush that you can get in store in England without ordering it online, I really like this one, and this is so cheap. It's also by Essence, and it's their eye blender brush. Now this one is not as, it is soft, but it's not as soft. You can kind of tell that the bristles are synthetic. It's a bit more obvious. They're ever so slightly more plasticky, but it works really well, and it's so cheap. And I find that you can't really find this shape brush at the drugstore that easily, or on the high street, you know what I mean? You either get fluffy short shader brushes or more dense compact versions of this. So I don't know, I don't really see this shape a lot on the high street. If you do have one that you would recommend, obviously let me know, but I was really impressed by this, and it was £1.50, £2 maybe. Really, really inexpensive, really cheap. I'd recommend this to anyone, to be honest. Can't really go wrong. And yeah, this is, I'm actually getting rid of this. I think I'm giving it away or selling it or something, but that's that one. This was my ride or die perfume for a long time. This was the first purchase I made with my John Lewis discount. I used to work at John Lewis, so it's a little bit nostalgic in that sense. I really miss John Lewis. It was a great place to work. Recommend it to anyone. And when I smell it, it just takes me back to kind of being 16, 17. It was what I would wear. I didn't wear it every single day because I didn't used to wear perfume every day, but whenever I was going for a special occasion or going out somewhere, going to London, I would always wear this. And this, I didn't even say what it was. This is a perfume, and this is Prada Candy, but it's not the standard Prada Candy. It's Prada Candy Low, like low like water in French. And I don't really hear a lot of people talk about this, but I absolutely love this scent. It smells, I'll put the notes on the screen so you can actually see what it is professionally, but it's a very ladylike scent. It's very sophisticated, musky, sort of sweet but not sickly, a bit like YSL Manifesto but not really like that. So that's not a very good comparison. I also get a little bit of, I'm not a professional by the way, getting hints of, no, it smells a bit like that Jo Malone Blue Cacao, can't remember the exact name, but you probably know what I'm talking about if you've smelled that or if you know Jo Malone at all. So it smells really nice, a really sort of wintry nighttime scent. And surprise surprise, Prada, the massive fashion powerhouse, is not cruelty free. So to replace this, I was looking for a vegan perfume, any perfume, pretty much anything that smelt good, smelt similar to this maybe, and didn't have a lot of luck. But then I was recommended, I think via a comment or something, someone recommended Eden Perfumes to me, and this brand I am so impressed by. Basically they are a company, a small company, I think it's like a family business, and they dupe designer fragrances. So if you've got a favourite fragrance, if you've got a favourite fragrance that is designer or well known, you know, something like Chanel No. 5 or J'adore by Dior, like a big iconic perfume, you just type it into their website and they will have a dupe for it. They've got loads and loads of different perfumes and they're all cruelty free, 100% vegan, more natural and paraben free, no synthetics. They're an English based brand, they're based in Brighton I believe, so all of that, and they're only £18, so you get 30ml of product for £18, which is a lot cheaper than a lot of designer perfumes. So even if you're not that bothered about vegan products or cruelty free products, I mean, they dupe them. And this smells so much like this, it's ridiculous. They're spot on dupes. This is the scent 67, I think they're done on numbers, so this is number 67. The only thing I would say is this doesn't last quite as long throughout the day. I'm saying that, I don't know that if that's 100% true. I just know that when I used to wear this I kind of get wafts of it throughout the day, whereas this I don't get that as much, but it smells exactly the same and I'm really, really happy with this. It's £18 including delivery. Can't bang on about this anymore. So this is an amazing dupe, and if you had a perfume you wanted a dupe, definitely check out their website because highly recommend. So those are 5 cruelty-free dupes for 5 cruelty-full products, but I thought I would just throw in an extra one. It's not really a dupe, it's just kind of a replacement I would recommend. You'll understand what I mean when I show you. And that is for these sort of products. This is the Cordially Beauty Elixir, which is basically a face mist, and it's supposed to smooth your skin and give you a glowing complexion. It's got lots of essential oils in. It's blimmin' pricey, I have to say, very pricey. This was 20 odd pounds, like quite a lot of money, and it's all right. It was okay, I didn't see massive results. It's just really a nice smelling face mist, you know. It's a bit, I think it's a little bit gimmicky. It probably is good for your skin, but the first listed ingredient here is water, and the second most abundant ingredient is alcohol, and it's also got perfume, like added fragrance to it. So not a massive fan of that considering how expensive it is, but even more gimmicky than that are these sort of products, and this one's by Aven and it's their thermal spring water. It's literally water in a can, and the idea of these are slightly different to the face mist, because face mists kind of, you could use them as a toner, maybe to set your makeup, maybe not if they've got essential oils in because that might break your makeup down, but this is just literally to cool you down if you're feeling hot, if you're feeling flustered, if you live somewhere warm. Very overpriced for water in a can. And my recommendation, if you want to dupe something like this, if you can't find a cruelty-free alternative, is just to make your own. It's so much more cost effective to just make it yourself. You can use an old bottle, like this one was a rose, what was it, the rose face mist from the Body Shop. These are just some bottles that I had lying around from travel sets, and it's so easy to make. So easy. All you do is you use water. You should use technically distilled water, but who has distilled water lying around? You know, this is not A-level chemistry. It's not something that most people have lying around. If you wanted to make a big batch, it might be worth buying, but I just use tap water, which, I mean, it works for me. If you don't want to do that, you could use bottled water. I just make them in small batches, so I just use a little bit of tap water and then fill it up with essential oils that I want to use. So for example, things like peppermint oil is really, really refreshing, and tea tree oil was quite good when I used to have quite bad acne. It was quite good at calming it down. I think it's got antibacterial properties as well, so that's handy. And also sandalwood I use sometimes, but you can obviously use whatever you so choose in whatever quantities you want. I only add a tiny little bit because I actually use my sprays as face setting mists as well, so I don't want the oil to break down my makeup because oil does do that. Obviously it is a little bit of an investment to pick up the oils in the first place. I think these are about £5 each from Holland & Barrett, this brand, and I like this brand because it is 100% pure oils, not blended oils, whereas this one from Superdrug is a blended oil. And the difference between the two is a blended oil will have other things added to it, so maybe just kind of like fillers. For example, this has got 3 or 4 ingredients. This one is a blended oil as well, and it's got almond oil with it, so it kind of dilutes it a little bit, whereas the peppermint one is 100% pure. So that's more of a top tip rather than an exact dupe, but I hope that's helpful if you're after sort of a replacement for something like the Quarterly Beauty Elixir. And that is everything. So those are 5 products that I used to love that I have managed to dupe / replace, and I hope that was helpful for anyone if you did like any of these products before, maybe if you're on a journey to cruelty-free or you just want to make more ethical purchases. I hope that helped. I hope you have a good day. If you've got any dupes you would like to share, obviously please do, and I will see you very soon. Bye!
Yeah.